Hello, welcome to the Scale News Update. It's a show where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you like the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Let's jump into this week's topics. Axial Fest West just concluded. It was from Wednesday through Saturday, and overall it was a great time. The turnout was solid. The heat was also quite present though. Very hot. It definitely had an effect on activity during the day, but there was a lot of vendors on site and some of the vendors had some new stuff to show. My Trick RC was there with some super cool new flex lights. This is a super flexible LED string that they had shown in a number of applications for these like custom looking headlights and tail lights. They had it in SCX6s and Ford F450s, some SCX10 deadbolts, SCX10 Jeeps with lights around, a bunch of different applications that they were just showing this off. The official product pages haven't been put up quite yet, but looking forward to all of the details becoming available for those. Definitely exciting to see, and for those of you who are looking to do some custom applications, this is something I would absolutely keep an eye out for. Also, Reefs RC was there with that brass raw 500 servo, and it was just as ridiculous in person as it looked like in the video. It is substantially heavier than the same servo in a normal case. That was a popular news topic last week. I didn't get all of the details on what the cost difference will be of that raw 500 brass 500. I don't know what they're going to call it. I think it still said raw 500, but didn't get all the details on it yet, but I'm sure that's coming soon once they finally hit the website. I had my Axial Fest build on display up there as well, and I put out a build video on that vehicle. Go check that out. It was a start to finish video for the first time, from the start of the build to the end of it, all in one video. You should all go watch it after you finish this video. Also at Axial Fest, Axial debuted their newest release of the SCX103 Basecamp K10 truck. It's like a Basecamp, but it's like the one Basecamp that's not the Basecamp kit. It's the Basecamp like the Basecamp RTR. So it's got portals, not straight axles like the Basecamp kit, but like the RTR. And it's got the other links, but it does have 419 tires for, I think, the first time on an Axial SCX10 of any sort, if I'm not mistaken. It's got the 80s Chevy K10 body that was available on the special edition Axial / Proline release, which was basically this same vehicle, but with a different paint job. And it had Proline aluminum wheels on it, Proline shocks, and Proline tires. So this one's got Axial shocks and Axial tires and Axial wheels. But it is less expensive than the special edition was. However, it's still $60 more than the other Basecamp, the one that has the Basecamp body. So you pay $60 more and you get the licensed Chevy K10 body versus the non-licensed Basecamp body. They both had licensed tires and wheels, licensed bumpers on the other Basecamp. So you are paying a decent amount more for that body, it appears. Also, this body does have clear windows, so that took obviously some extra effort versus the screened body that came on the original. This one is available in blue and black. Looks like you can put pre-orders in now. Not 100% sure when these are shipping, but I believe it's coming pretty quickly. And speaking of the 419s, Axial also listed those 4.19 Falcons on the website, but they're kind of hidden. Like if you go to the Horizon website, they're not really shown, but you can take the URL from the Tower Hobbies listing and then paste it over, but just change to Horizon and they show up. So they're not like putting them out there. None of the product details are in place. You can order them, but they haven't put the photos or any of the details in the listing yet. Biddy Designs has got a new body coming for you ARMA 1/7 scale fans. This looks like the NASCAR Next Gen bodies. I know that Proline has done the Next Gen body, and now Biddy Designs as well. Biddy Designs bodies look so good. It'll be interesting to see the differences or similarities between the Proline approach and the Biddy Designs approach when they're both available. Looks like the official release of this Biddy Designs option is going to be the 28th of this month. So if you're looking for another option, something a little bit different than the Proline one, even though it should be very close to the same, wait for that to get full details. I'll put a link to where you can see all the information on it though in the description below. A while back, we talked about the return of the HPI WR8. This was the HPI 8-scale rally car platform. It was always a super cool car, and it was announced that it was coming back, but it looks like it's finally started hitting dealers and distributors. In stock now in a handful of places where you can pick these up for order. These things look fantastic. I think they were just such a nice car. They're a larger 8-scale platform. I haven't compared the dimensions of this versus like that new Charisma 8-scale rally car that was released last week. So be interesting to see exactly how close these two options are to each other. MST has an RTR version of the RMX M series drift platform. We talked about the kit release a few months ago, but now they're available in an RTR form. You can get it in the Miata or the sport car. If I was going to pick between the Miata and the sport car, I think you all know which one I would choose. But if you wanted a slightly shorter drift car for some specific reason, maybe you have a different body you plan to swap on there, it does come brushless, and MST is a name that you can likely trust in the drift game. Team Associated has another version of the Apex 2 platform. This is the ST550 Sport Touring / Rally car, they're calling this one. That same Apex 2 platform that they have released a handful of different options on within the last 6 months or so. This one's got kind of a generic sedan look to it. Not 100% sure exactly which one they're going after here. Knight Customs put a new release up on his My Mini Factory. This is a functioning drift interior. And when I say functioning, I mean that it has a moving arm and handbrake assembly on the driver figure inside. But it's all 3D printable, and it's not just like a simple little moving thing. It's a multi-piece articulated, upper arm, forearm type setup. It's super impressive, and this is made to fit the Unicorn, I believe, that Associated has. But for $20, there looks like there's so much work in this thing that it's an absolute steal. If you've got a 3D printer and you have that car, I can't see how you don't buy this file. It looks so good, and James put up some video clips of it on his social media if you want to see it in action. Absolutely incredible piece there. Go check that out. You can download that on his My Mini Factory, which is linked below. Traxxas had a new release today, and this is the Raptor R. And at first glance, couldn't 100% tell what was going on. In the end, this is a stretched / 4x4. So it is just kind of one of the same platforms that we've seen a lot for a long time. But they went a little bit further than typical. This has got a very scale Raptor R body on it that's got the clipless body system incorporated in there. Also, it's got scale style bumpers on it, front and rear, to kind of make it look more like a scale truck than just another slash. They went a little bit further than just throwing a new body on an existing platform, as we all know, we've seen them do many, many times. But this one looks better than I've seen them do at any time previously. It also has larger wheels and tires to fit the proportions that the Raptor would have. Overall, it definitely took a double take to fully see what was going on here, but looks pretty good. If you're looking for a basher of that type, it's definitely an option to consider. Also kind of interesting just to see how many Raptors are being released this year. We had the Traction Hobbies 8-scale Raptor, which was a very scale platform, solid axle rear, IFS front. Then we just had the Losi Baja Ray 2 Raptor, now the Traxxas, all three of those coming pretty close to each other. Then from RC 4-wheel drive, they had a new release on their old platform. The TF2 is getting a different color body of the same body that they released previously. This is the 4Runner in red. Previously, you could get this in a limited edition when it came with like that kind of pale yellow color, and now it's just the red version. You're gonna pay near $600 for this RTR TF2. Beyond the 85 4Runner body, it's got 1.7-inch wheels with some Milestar Patagonia tires on it. The actual underpinnings of the chassis, though, pretty much just like they have been for 10 plus years. If you've ever looked at a TF2, it will be very familiar. Spectrum just made a post with a little bit of information coming on their Sky ID system. This is in response to the FAA's laws on remote ID that we talked about a couple of weeks ago at this point. This is what they are going to be offering to drone and fixed wing pilots to comply with this system. Talks a little bit about, what the system is going to be, how it's going to work over Spectrum telemetry, but it can also work standalone also, and that the cost is going to be under $100. But it's something to note that every time you want to buy or comply with the rules on this, it's going to cost you another $100, possibly per aircraft, but not 100% sure how their system is working yet. If you can move it around to each vehicle as the FAA law allows for private consumers. Now, you don't have to use these systems at all if you're flying at an AMA field that is designated as a FRIA. FRIA is like the FAA's designation for a flight area that complies with all the rules and is registered and all of those things. So again, probably not a ton of pilots on here, but it's just one of those little interesting things that does have some effect on our hobby that I feel like some of you may want to have a little bit of knowledge about. This Wednesday, live stream takeover. I'm back from Axial Fest. Last week, I wasn't able to be there. Matt had to do it on his own. So I'll be there this week, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Mail call is going to be ridiculous. It all stacked up while I was gone. A lot to go over. And then Friday night, I'm back again. We're just diving back into all the live shows. Matt again stepped up and did a live build last Friday. I'll work on something this week. We'll figure out what when the time comes. But last week I asked you guys what your most bougie or extra kind of purchase was, and you guys had some good ones. Of course, many of you have interests outside of just the RC hobby, which blows my mind. But some of you found some fantastic ways to just spend a little extra on things. Some great responses that go read some of those if you've got some time. There's definitely some interesting stuff there. But for this week, I want to go back to some talk about the last build video that I did. I did it in a different way than I normally have. I did it in a one video release, start to finish, front to back, to kind of change up the style of build videos because it seemed like maybe it was time for some change up. And it seemed to be well received, but I want to know, what is your favorite type of content? It doesn't have to be RC, and it doesn't have to be a specific person, but is it like restoration style videos? Is it just super technical in depth? Is it just running, bashing, crash compilation video, high speed chases, whatever it is? What's your favorite type of content? I'd be interested to hear just, the different styles of video that you find yourself watching the most on the internet. Well, careful. No furniture related topics. Let me know. Put your answers in the comments below. It's my favorite part of the Scale News Update. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, also hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. As always, thanks for watching the Scale News Update. See you on the next one. Flustered.